the Audi Sport TT Cup 2017. 16 juniors. One big aim: becoming a professional race driver. Therefore, the Audi Sport TT Cup offers the best entry. The Audi Sport TT Cup is the first step into the world of Audi motorsport. With the Audi Sport TT Cup, we give the youngsters a chance to get in touch with professional motorsport and eventually to get further into other programs from Audi, like TCR, GT4, GT3, or, who knows, DTM. It's the third season of the Audi Sport TT Cup, and the series is placed well in the surroundings of the DTM. The concept from 2016, we take over into 2017. No changes on the car side, no changes on the sporting side. The concept has established itself. There are many rookies entering the series this year. The most famous name comes from Germany, and he's really looking forward to his race debut. I'm really looking forward to the start of the season. The weeks and months before the start, you don't know how it will be. But now, I'm ready. I'm full of anticipation to do racing. There is a lot of girl power entering the Audi Sport TT Cup this year, as many as never before. 3 girls rise to the challenge: Vivian Castelli from Hungary, Garcia Radest from Poland, and Fabienne Folvent from Liechtenstein. 14 races to go this season. The champion gets a little bit closer to the dream of becoming a professional race driver, but it's a long way, and it all begins in Hockenheim. And we're on the grid for race number 1. The 4.574 kilometer circuit here at Hockenheim, which plays host to the opening round of the Audi Sport TT Cup, and a great job in qualifying from Yannick Brandt in the Audi Sport TT Cup. He would go from pole position. Just saw in the LED indicator in the side window, 15 push-to-pass facilities available to those that are at the front part of the grid, including Yannick Brandt and this man who did a great job in quali as well, Philippe Ellis, another returnee to the Audi Sport TT Cup for 2017. Garcia Radest celebrates her 3rd year in the Audi Sport TT Cup and is competing not only in this but also in the ADAC TCR series with Audi, so is getting a lot of track time and will be one young lady to watch during the course of the 2017 season. Here's the grid then: Brandt, Ellis, Radest, we've already seen on the grid. Then it's Doncha, Mosca, Arnold, Trellier, who is one of the guests. Fabian Vettel is P8. Then it's Michael Ascona and Keegan Masters occupying the first 5 rows of the grid. As I mentioned, this 4.5 kilometer circuit here at Hockenheim. 13 laps expected. What wasn't expected was drama on the formation lap. Vivian Castelli sideways, spins the car, ends up in the barriers. And this on the formation lap. So Vivian Castelli will not be taking part in the very first race of the Audi Sport TT Cup for 2017. Thankfully, she's okay. The car will be recovered and regrettably won't be on the grid. So start time for the first race then, as we see the number 7 car being recovered. We throw the lights to the top of the screen. When the lights go out, we will be away and racing. Great start from the 3 at the front. Yannick Brandt, then Philippe Ellis and Garcia Radest. Garcia Radest just taking a look at Philippe Ellis around the outside, but has to tuck back in behind the grey car, which is P2. Not far behind is Milan Doncha. Of course, keep an eye on the Milan Doncha car, number 43, as Garcia Radest is going for the outside line around turn 2. Now, this would give Garcia Radest the inside line for turn number 3, but she's not able to make that stick. So Philippe Ellis now P2, but you wait and let's see the feisty young lady have a go going into the hairpin now. So Philippe Ellis right in the middle of the track, Garcia Radest on the far outside. This is all playing into the hands of Yannick Brandt, who's able to escape up the road whilst these two are fighting over the P2 position. And Milan Doncha coming under some pressure from Tommaso Mosca as well for P4. And a great move from Garcia Radest if she can make it stick. She has got past Philippe Ellis at the hairpin and goes into P2. Brilliant driving from the 3rd year in the Audi Sport TT Cup for Garcia Radest. And as you can see, already gapped at the front is Yannick Brandt. Whilst those two were fighting in this opening lap, he was able just to put a little bit of comfort margin between himself and what is now the P2 place for Garcia Radest. So Philip Ellis having a go back now. In the meantime, the number 43 car of Milan Doncher is having to defend also. Benoit Trellier and Drew Ridge having a real battle a little bit further down the order. There they are, middle screen right now, the number 4 and the number 98 car. And you can see Drew Ridge is on the push to pass. The LED light flashes in the rear quarter window of his Audi Sport TT Cup race car. Goes through on the Benoit Trellier car, 3 times Le Mans champion and WEC champion back in 2012. Hugely experienced racing driver. Yannick Brandt, Garcia Radest, Philip Ellis and Milan Doncher with Mosca, Ascona, and then it's Ridge and Trellier then occupying the top 8 places. And now going through in the number 17 car is Keegan Masters, and next to have a go at the 3-time Le Mans champion, potentially Fabian Vettel in the number 55 car. Now, the front of the pack, Philip Ellis has really kept on with Garcia Radest and has not allowed her to escape up the road from her P2 position, as you can see. He's really beginning to hound the young lady ahead now. I'm going to try and wrestle back that P2 position. And Fabian Vettel there getting out onto the grass. So, Garcia Radest, may she fall victim to a real claim here from Philip Ellis as he dives up the inside. Now, Garcia Radest will try and turn in and go underneath the Philip Ellis car, but Philip very cleverly made the car just wide enough to prevent Garcia Radest from being able to do that, so he does wrestle back that P2 position. So lots of place changes in the very early stages of this race. Let's see it in replay. Carries a lot of speed into the hairpin, is able to scrub it off. And there, it's at that point that Garcia Radest is not quite able to turn in and come back underneath and get what we call the switchback on the Philip Ellis car. A replay of the start then, and the first 2 rows getting away really, really well indeed. And so too did Tommaso Mosca from P5 on the grid. And that's where Garcia Radest was making her feelings known for Philip Ellis in the very early stages of this race and was going to try and go past and wrestle away that P2 position. Okay, so side by side now, the number 11 car of Tommaso Mosca, and on the inside it's Michael Ascona, who carries too much speed. That should play into the hands of Tommaso Mosca and potentially also Drew Ridge, but Tommaso Mosca and Ascona absolutely side by side now. The number 11 car on the inside for this turn, but that becomes the outside for the next one. So he's really got to carry the momentum and try and get in front of the Michael Ascona car, which indeed he does. And Ascona now, as well as attacking the car in front, is going to have to defend from the hard-charging Drew Ridge from Australia in the yellow car. And indeed, Drew Ridge does go through, and therefore the number 25 car of Michael Ascona is relegated. Meantime, Yannick Brandt at the front of the pack is coming under real pressure now from Philip Ellis. As you can see here, there is the lead car. That's P3. There's Yannick Brandt, and this charging battle that we've just been enjoying. So, Yannick Brandt then has had 3/10 taken out of his lead by the Philip Ellis machine. Really has got the pace now as a safety car is deployed. A safety car has been deployed, and all the cars will be bunched up together then behind the safety car. So it's Kevin Arnold that has caused the deployment. That looks like it's the runoff area at the hairpin. Hopefully Kevin Arnold is okay in the number 31 car, and a confirmation of the flashing safety car light then. And just trying to figure out where we are on the circuit. I'm convinced that that is the hairpin, and that's where Kevin Arnold is. And we'll get a replay of what caused that safety car intervention. Kevin Arnold, obviously with the car going no further, that means that the safety car has to be deployed and brings the control of the race behind the safety car for as many laps as is necessary to get the Kevin Arnold car recovered, which clearly is not going to take very long indeed. Just going to tow the car off. Kevin Arnold all okay inside the car. Oh, and here it is then. Take a look at what happened here. Turns in, and from quite a way back comes Fabian Vettel, and just clunks into the side of the Kevin Arnold car. Fabian Vettel is able to do a pirouette and get going again, but clearly there's something broken on the steering of Kevin Arnold's car, which is why the car ended up going no further. So then Yannick Brandt for the moment has seen off the challenge from Philip Ellis. There's 5/10 between them, and the rest of the order on the screen, as you can see. Great high shot there as the cars make their way through turn number 1. But Philip Ellis is lining up once again the Yannick Brandt car to try and have another go. They go through turn number 2 and head towards the fast sweeping parabolica, which leads up towards the hairpin. Battle between Ascona and Tommaso Mosca continues as well. And There you can see the number 17 and number 25 car at full tilt in this battle. Push to pass being used on the Parabolica here. Yannick Brandt tries to stick his elbows out and make his Audi Sport TT Cup car as wide as possible to prevent Philipp Ellis from coming through on the inside, but to be fair, was never really close enough to make an overtake move there on that particular lap as they head towards the Mercedes arena now. Garcia Rodest firmly placed in P3, not coming under pressure from Milan Doncha, and what she's doing, she's being very clever here because allowing these two to fight, and that will bring her back into the game for P1 or P2 as Philipp Ellis and Yannick Brandt continue their battle right at the front. Philipp Ellis looking very, very quick here, and Yannick Brandt really having to defend, and you can see just how aggressive he's being over the curbs in the number 8 car, and eventually it would pay off because Philipp Ellis would go past, and now, as I suggested, Yannick Brandt falls into the clutches, going towards the Mercedes arena once again of Garcia Rodest, who converts that P3 place into P2. Yannick Brandt tries to come back, but Garcia Rodest with a nice line through that turn is able to see off the charge. Another battle going on further down the order, this between Fabian Vettel, who gets a drive-through penalty for pushing that. You'll recall we saw the car of Kevin Arnold off. Well, Sebastian Vettel gets a drive-through penalty for that. He's just gone past the Mike Beckhusen car. So Sebastian Vettel with a penalty and contact there between Michael Ascona and Drew Ridge. Drew Ridge seemed to be the orchestrator, if you like, of the damage that we now see on the Michael Ascona car, which is a great shame because Michael Ascona has delivered some great race action for us during the course of this first race, but with the bodywork rubbing on the tyre, that will be the end of the race for the number 25 car. Do bear in mind that we saw a drive-through penalty for the number 55 car, and the reason the black flag is being shown now is because Fabian Vettel did not take that drive-through penalty within 3 laps, so he's now being disqualified from the race. So interesting start to the Audi Sport TT Cup year for Fabian Vettel. Great start, though, for this man, Philipp Ellis, who heads towards the checkered flag to take win number 1 in season 2017, followed by Garcia Rodest, who will take P2. Good driving from Garcia Rodest. P3 is Yannick Brandt, who will rule the opportunity of the win that he could have had. Milan Doncha, P4. And our guest driver, the 3-time Le Mans winner, Benoit Trellier, takes P5. The rest of the order then, from P6, it was Keegan Masters, then it was Tommaso Mosca, Fabian Volvend, Finlay Hutchinson, and James Taylor rounding out the top 10. Let's hear from our race winner now. I saw it in free practice sessions that I was stronger on the brakes compared to the other drivers, and that's the advantage of the experience I have because the car is very specific to drive, and I use that for the victory. Garcia Rodest is the best ever placed lady in the Audi Sport TT Cup's history. Let's hear from her now.
Like, it's amazing. Now I'm actually shaking, my legs are shaking, I'm feeling about to puke because of nerves I'm having. But through the race I didn't have that, nervous situation, so now when it's after, the emotions are going through me. But it's great, it's unbelievable feeling.
Well, apologies for the graphic description of how she's feeling. Let's hear from Yannick Brandt. I'm very, very happy about P3. First podium. It's a great beginning of the season. The others grabbed me, but I'm not too frustrated. The voice of Patrick Simon inviting the drivers to enjoy the podium with the liberal spraying of champagne. Success in race 1. He has to do the most fan pictures and the writing of the most autographs. Fabian Vettel, younger brother of the 4-time Formula 1 world champion Sebastian Vettel. His entry gives a huge awareness to the brand trophy. It's a name with attraction.
I
have to handle the situation. Of course, there is a lot of interest, but I think this is always special at the beginning, and it will be perhaps getting less after the first race weekend. Well, the first race certainly provided a lot of excitement and drama too. I braked too late and couldn't avoid the collision. It was completely my fault. A mistake with consequences, a drive-through penalty, but he missed it. I was extremely focused to the driver in front, and that's why I didn't see the flag. But therefore, I was getting disqualified, and I have to enter the pits. That's racing, but anyway, for the Audi Sport TT Cup and Vettel, in every respect, it's an enrichment.
Fabian hat auch, muss ich ehrlich sagen,
Fabian has done a really good job up until now. At the testing time in Hockenheim, he improved from session to session, and that was very impressive. I think we can expect a lot from him. The self-expectations are high, although with 18 years, he is a late entry into racing. Of course, I want to be at the top of the field, and I also want to be able to claim podiums, but I have to learn a lot. Support he gets from his father Norbert, who supported Sebastian and now Fabian. The footsteps from his famous brother are big, but he will do it in his own way. I have to go my own way. I have to make my own experiences. I have to find out what's the best possible way for me. What my brother will do is his own business. I only have to concentrate on my own. The experience he will get, the attention he already has. Fabian Vettel, a name with great attraction. Attraction this man doesn't need any more. Benoit Trelia is a three-time 24-hour of Le Mans winner, and after the retreat from Audi in the WEC, he's able to join the Audi Sport TT Cup. It's not easy for him.
Yeah, it's completely different. It's the first time for me. I'm driving the front-wheel drive, and first time I come to an event from DTM weekend, and I'm really pleased to be here.
For the 40-year-old Frenchman, it's a big challenge. But it's also a lot of fun, driving against so many young talents.
After a few laps I could understand, but it doesn't mean that I can drive it very well.
So P7 then for that man in the Audi Sport TT Cup Race 2, and the focus and attention then ahead of the start of race number 2 here at Hockenheim. Going from pole position will be Milan Doncha, who has to face somewhat different weather conditions to those that we experienced for race 1. There was a bit of rain around overnight, and there's plenty of cloud, and it's a bit colder now, and the threat of rain is never far away. The grid then, well, Milan Doncha goes from pole position. Garcia Rodest then is going to be lively from P2. Then it's Yannick Brandt and Philip Ellis. So keep an eye on the first 2 rows before we see Arnold, Moscow, Trelua, Ascona, Ridge, and Masters. We await the lights out. And race number 2 is underway. Garcia Rodest on the push to pass straight away. So too Milan Doncha. Milan Doncha going to try and squeeze Garcia Rodest out going into turn number 1. The right-hander, but Garcia Rodest just with nose in front. Not quite. Milan Doncha carrying a little bit more speed. Fabian Vettel out onto the runoff area. So side by side go Garcia Rodest and Milan Doncha then into the first turn. And Garcia Rodest absolutely committed and could go into the Parabolica turn in the lead, indeed does so. So it's Garcia Rodest that converts that P2 position on the grid into P1. Here comes Yannick Brandt now on the outside of Milan Doncha. So up the road goes Garcia Rodest. They're all on the push-to-pass buttons, which gives them that extra horsepower just for 10 seconds as they head towards the hairpin turn. And big battle going on behind between Philip Ellis and the car of Kevin Arnold as well. Kevin Arnold, of course, frustrated yesterday and frustrated there as he was the sandwich in the middle of 2 of those Audi Sport TT Cup cars. And goodness me, it looks like it's going to be the end. We can just see the Kevin Arnold car pulling off onto the grass. In the meantime, Garcia Rodest really under pressure now from Milan Doncha, who is not letting the young Polish lady get away and is staying in touch. And of course, at the same time, has got another 3 cars breathing down his neck as well. Oh, and there, confirmation that it's going to be another non-finish for Kevin Arnold. The 31 car is out. What a great shame that is. Here comes Yannick Brandt on Milan Doncha now. This is great for Garcia Rodest because as Milan Doncha comes under pressure from Yannick Brandt and also from Philip Ellis, that means that Garcia Rodest can get up the road and try and build a little bit of a margin between herself and the cars that are pursuing that race lead. But that race lead currently held by the all-yellow car of Garcia Rodest. As the cars round the final turns to complete lap 1 in the book for this second of the Audi Sport TT Cup races. The only loss we have on the opening lap, sadly, is the Kevin Arnold car, number 31. Across the timing line they come then, Garcia Rodest with 5/10 over Milan Doncha, then it's Brandt, Ellis, Ascona, Moscow, Ridge and Hutchinson occupying the top 8 positions. Good move there from Finley Hutchinson on Drew Ridge up the inside. These are our leaders then as they're heading for turn number 2 here at Hockenheim. And Garcia Rodest now squirming under pressure a little bit from Milan Doncha, who's in this awful position of being stuck between Garcia Redest and also Yannick Brandt as well. So he's hunting and being hunted at the same time. Milan Doncic now coming under pressure from Yannick Brandt. Yannick Brandt takes a look at the inside. They're all using their push-to-pass facility around the Parabolica here. Garcia Redest tries hard to make haste her escape up the road, and wherever Yannick Brandt puts the car, Milan Doncic is doing his best to defend, and he's squeezing now and closing the gap to the point where Yannick Brandt has to take to the curbs and the grass, and he probably isn't going to have the momentum, no he hasn't, to get alongside the Milan Doncic car. Certainly trying very, very hard. In the background you can see Finley Hutchinson and Mikael Ascona battling away, but this is absolutely compelling. Philip Ellis on the back of Yannick Brandt. Yannick Brandt, of course, trying to get past Milan Doncic, and whilst they're all fighting among themselves, the number 11 car of Tomaso Mosca is trying to get involved in the party, as well as is the number 2 car of Finley Hutchinson also. All playing into the hands of Garcia Redest, who is able to get up the road and enjoy leading this race. Running wide there and kicking up some gravel is Mikael Ascona, but managed to save it, but he's into the clutches of Drew Ridge now as we take a look at the replay of the start here. And it was a great start from Garcia Redest, who was not going to allow Milan Doncic to shut out that best line going into turn number 1. Absolutely had to keep the momentum on and keep the foot buried through the floor for the throttle to make sure that turn 2 was hers as well. And we can see them heading towards turn number 2 now. The strong commitment there from the number 3 car of Garcia Redest. This also in replay is Philip Ellis on Milan Doncic. From the Parabolica heading up towards the hairpin, and through the hairpin Philip Ellis gets the job done. Past the number 43 car, almost a little love tap there as once again Yannick Brandt takes to the grass. This was Milan Doncic coming back, but that's how you run wide, and that allows Philip Ellis to go through. Benoit Trellier in the background there running off onto the runoff area as well. Fabulous racing from all 3 of them. Garcia Redest still leading though, but is under real pressure from Philip Ellis. Whilst all that's been going on, Finley Hutchinson is up into P3, but these two are out on their own, and they are absolutely side by side. You can see as the tyres have degraded over the course of the race how it's really difficult to control the cars, and slide from Garcia Redest, and well, a real nerf from Philip Ellis into the side of Garcia Redest, and that certainly aided the overtake as they head towards the hairpin now. Garcia Redest will try and come back underneath Philip Ellis now, but just saw the way the number 3 car was sliding through the turns 1, 2 and 3, that tyre degradation greater on the Garcia Redest car perhaps than on the Philip Ellis. You can see the cars get really, really loose under braking. Garcia Redest will try and come back now. She has 1 push to pass left over and above Philip Ellis. Philip Ellis has 2. Garcia Redest has 3, so she's not going to let him get away with that scot-free, I would think, having led the race for so long. Let's take a look at a replay of that overtake. To be fair to Philip Ellis, actually he is alongside and Garcia Redest is turning in, so that will be put down as a racing incident, I'm sure. So having seen it from these different angles, you can see there that Philip Ellis is alongside the Garcia Redest car, and racing room was not left. And as I say, therefore that will be considered and scored as a racing incident only. But what great racing we have seen from the 2 of them as Philip Ellis and Garcia Redest continue to battle. Heading towards the checkered flag of race number 2. Side by side, wheel banging battle that's going on between the 2 of them. Great racing, and in the end it is Philip Ellis that is victorious. He takes P1. It's a great race from Garcia Redest. I really rather thought that we would see her first win, and also a super race from Finley Hutchinson to take P3. So confirmation then. And it was Trellier takes P4. As we watch the race-winning car, number 23, Philip Ellis. He really has maxed out his point score. So the rest of the order on screen for you across this opening weekend of the Audi Sport TT Cup. So let's hear from our race winner now. Garcia thought that I will take another line to drive inside, not on the outside. That's why we have contact. Luckily, it went everything fine and that we are both on the podium. So Ellis, Radest, Hutchinson, Trelio, Mosca, Doncha, Masters, Vettel, Brandt, Ascona, and let's hear from Garcia Radest then, who picks up P2 in race 2.
Yeah, a bit of mistake, a bit of pace dropping because of killing front tires, but yeah, I get trophy, now going back, so it's perfect.
P12 on the grid for Finley Hutchinson, but he finishes on the podium. What a race.
Got the pressures nailed, which helped me a lot, but luckily I managed to make the most of my race. Caught people when they made the mistake. Unfortunately, didn't manage to catch back up to Gorja and Philip. But yeah, it was a really good performance, and I'm really happy with my helper. He's done an amazing job.
Well, Drivers' Championship then looks this way. Philip Ellis on 50 points. Garcia Radest is on 42 with Milan Doncha on 30 points. After the opening weekend of the Audi Sport TT Cup, we watch the drivers on the podium celebrate and urge you to join us for the next race in the Audi Sport TT Cup. It's at the Nürburgring in support of the Nürburgring 24-hour race between the 25th and the 27th of May. But for now, from Hockenheim, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.